My arm's shaking. Live chat. Okay, folks. I've just been carrying things and moving things, and now my arm's shaking. That's a little bit weird. A lot of work involved in setting this all up. RLRG. Sorry, mate. Don't remember your name. I think you did tell me one time. I think it's your initial, so it's probably a Richard or a Roger. But do remind me. Feel free to remind me. Oh, let me take the lid off my coffee. I've only just made them, so they're gonna be stupid hot. I forgot to take the lid off already. Okay, now I'm a bit confused because I've been writing the notes for two different TrampCasts this morning, trying to get ahead of myself and get back on terms, because we're still covering previous weeks. So let me start. This is episode 61 of TrampCast. Today we will be covering the week ending Sunday, March the 23rd of 2025. We're broadcasting on April the 6th, 2025. So we're covering kind of 3 weeks ago, there or thereabouts. From kind of the 16th or 17th through to the 23rd. The channel is Delta Mike, down and out in Torrevieja. Delta Mike, that's a character I play on the internet. Down and out, homeless, tramp, a hobo, a vagrant, an indigent person, a person of no fixed abode. Some would say a bum, someone who sleeps rough or on the streets, or in my case, in a field. Delta Mike, down and out in Torrevieja. Torrevieja is a city on the southeast coast of Spain, on the Costa Blanca south. This is TrampCast, where we look at the successes, the failures, and the other happenings in my life as a tramp in Torrevieja, or a homeless guy, however you want to have that worded. Okay, folks, if you would, consider a thumbs up. If you haven't already, you might like to consider subscribing. Please don't until you've watched 2 or 3 videos. Make sure that, that I am someone that you want to see more of. It's entirely free. It helps you to stay up to date with my videos, and it helps the channel out. It gives us a metric to measure whether it's working, whether anybody's interested or not. I've got written here, donate, brackets maybe. I have just spent literally all my money, folks, on a new tent that will be arriving with friends in a week or so. Although it looks like it's going to be arriving in the middle of some bad weather. But the PayPal account is now empty. So yeah, donate maybe? Question mark. Check if you're not here at 4 minutes past 5 or 4 minutes past the hour, wherever you are. If you're joining late, check the bottom left corner. You're looking for the word live on a red dot. Make sure that you're up to date with us. Otherwise you'll find yourself commenting on things that might have happened an hour ago. I invite you all to join me here in chat. I like if people say hello, like Rich just did there. Join me here in chat and join in, follow along, talk to me. Feel free to ask questions at suitable intervals. This is the proper TrampCast, so there is a structure, which I will cover shortly, but as and when appropriate, I will look back through chat and try and stay on top of things. Not always easy. This app from YouTube, the YouTube app for the person broadcasting, isn't great. Your chat disappears when we're in this landscape mode. Put in portrait, the chat just stays all the time, but nobody wants to watch hours of portrait mode. So if you're joining us on another day, if you're watching the recording of this on demand, you want to activate chat replay so that you can see the questions and the comments that are being added in chat. You get to watch the video back and see chat as it happened. So in a moment, we will begin with the numbers round. This is episode 61 of TrampCast, so we'll do a few quick facts about the number 61. See how that works? After that, we'll do the thank yous, the donations that were received in the week in question, and people who visited and brought me things, donations in person or via PayPal. We'll also have a quick look at themes for the week. We're still covering what I called the week of hell, the 3 weeks of bad storms. We're bringing things to an end today with that, but that's the main theme. Then we'll look through the week as it happened, and talk about what I would have thought at the time was the upcoming items. Tina girl. Tina, shush. Okay folks, Tina wants in on the action. Here's my girl. Hey babe. She was just shouting at people walking past. But Tina, it's okay. She's just having her food, or was until she disturbed herself. Hey, let's have some quiet. Talk to the nice peoples. Say hello. Come here. I forgot to pick up some treats. People are saying hi, Tina. Rich says hi, Tina. Yeah. Okay, folks. Back to me. I think I'm the star of the show, but we all know it's not true. We all know that Tina's the real star. Where's I got stuff blowing away. Are we enjoying having me outside rather than in the tent where everything's blue? I have a very awful blue tint when I do the show from inside the tent in daylight. Quite enjoyed the TrampCast hangouts late at night from the bedroom, from bed. Those have been quite enjoyable. Okay, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, after we've done the themes, we'll look at the events of the week as they happened, and then we'll look at what was upcoming, what I thought was upcoming for the next week, the things I would be looking out for during the following week. Okay, folks, as I said, this is episode 61 of TrampCast. So a few facts about the number 61. The number 61 is a prime number. It's also what's called a twin prime. This is where you get a run of consecutive odd numbers that are prime. So 61 is paired with 59 as a twin prime. They're both primes, 59 and 61. It's also what's called a centered square number. It's the sum of two consecutive squares, 5 squared and 6 squared. Hello, Terence. 5 squared gives you 25, 6 squared gives you 36, 25 plus 36 gives you your 61. Okay, it's also what's called a Keith number. This was an interesting one, I'd not heard of this till today. But if you do the Fibonacci type thing, and you start with the 2 digits of the number, so 6 and then 1, so add the 2 together to get 7, add the 7 to the 1 that was previous, get 8, 8 and 7, 50, and you keep going. And within the sequence, you get the number that you started with. 61 will actually be within that sequence. And these are really rare, apparently. The numbers escalate large really quickly, and there are only approximately 100 of these Keith numbers known. And it's quite computationally intensive to compute them even with a computer. So there are only 100 of them known so far. Okay, international direct dialing codes. Most weeks we have one. The international direct dialing code 61 will get you our friends down under, the Australians. Now, there weren't that many facts for this. I was stretching it a little bit here. 1961. See what I did? It's not really about the number 61, except the year 1961. 4 guys in Liverpool performed in a club called the Cavern. And history was changed, I guess. The Beatles, for anyone not familiar. Okay, finally, we always have something from the periodic table. At least for now, for the next 100 or 130 or so episodes. See the assumption that we're going to be getting right up there. The number 61 on the periodic table, Promethium, with the initials PM. Named after Prometheus, the Greek titan, who stole fire from the gods to give to us mortals, and thus, according to Greek mythology, thus started our learning, our development as a species. And for his troubles, he was chained to a rock and had an eagle eat his liver out each day. This was what Zeus decided would be his perpetual torment, until some bloke called Hercules came along and killed the eagle and freed Prometheus. But anyway, back to Promethium. It's a rare earth. This is funny. It's a rare earth metal. Do you want to know how rare? Doesn't exist. How's that one? There is thought to be no promethium in Earth's crust. That's how rare earth metal this is. There is none. Basically, it's considered to be entirely synthetic. It is produced by the decay, the fission of uranium, or more recently, by irradiating neodymium, which is one that we covered. Was that last week? I think it was last week. It was. So they irradiate it and force a new neutron into the nucleus, which changes a material from one substance to another. So you can go down from uranium, or you can go up from neodymium by adding neutrons to the nucleus. So that's the only way we get it from basically, it was discovered in the Los Alamos days when they were trying to build the first atomic bombs. All isotopes are radioactive. It's a very it's quite a dangerous substance. Now, its uses, stand by. Nuclear batteries, kind of low powered but long running tends to be the thing. Used in devices, get this, pacemakers, and some guided missile systems. Also luminous paints, it's one of those ones. Don't be painting it on your teeth like women did back in the day with certain of these glowing compounds. It's also used in radioactive imaging, kind of your X-ray type stuff, and MRIs, that kind of stuff, and also in cancer treatments. So yeah, those are your facts about the number 61, because this is TrampCast episode 61. 18. Okay, folks, next up, after the numbers, is the Thankyous. And in the week ending Sunday, March the 23rd, there are the following people to thank. My friend Sven. That ain't cheap. Thank you, Sven. And apologies to all of these people for my tardiness in getting here to this episode and reading their names out and giving them their thanks. Jeff E. Thank you, sir. Ian B. That ain't cheap. Now, I've got to be careful with my pronunciation here. Mauer. Maybe Mayor? Mayor B. Oh, here we go, folks. I mentioned him yesterday, because not yesterday, last week when we did one of these, because I got 2 donations that night and they were off the scale. So I mentioned them last week because that was the week immediately after the donations. But this is the week that they truly belonging. In fact, they're right on the cusp. The 2 people sent donations, I got 2 donations immediately following the TrampCast at the start of this week, and or was it at the end of this week and at the beginning of the next? So probably get covered in multiple TrampCasts. But my friend Scruff Dog, who I listened to on a Saturday night and also a Wednesday, a couple of his live streams, he donated to say that ain't cheap doesn't give it justice. I'm not going to mention numbers, but Scruff Dog gave a mighty donation to help towards the tent fund. Hello, Thomas. And also, Mel and Adam joined the Ton Up Club, and then some. Fantastic donation. I will tell you that between those two donations, that was €200 between those two. And that's what more or less got me over the hump for buying the tent, folks. That's how I've been able to empty the PayPal account, send it to a friend who has acquired a new tent for me. So thank you to all those people. Thank you so much. And I'm just checking through my notes to see whether we had a visit from Tom this particular week. I don't think we did, so I don't think I'm thanking him in this particular section. That must be, I said I wrote the notes for 2 different weeks, and I think Tom was in that one. We'll get there, folks. We'll get there. I'll make it right if I've missed anybody out. Okay, folks. TrampCast 61 for the week ending March the 23rd, 2025. And if you remember, this was the 3rd week of what I had dubbed the week of hell, when I first saw a whole 7 days plus of storms coming in on the weather forecast. It turned out to be over 3 weeks in the end. This is the 3rd of those weeks, basically day 16 onwards. of the week of hell. It was a long week, that particular week. Now the themes for the week are what you'd expect. The weather, the thunder and lightning, the rain, the fact that the tent is in tatters with big holes and rips and leaks, and even the tarps over the top leaking. And the other growing frustration at that point, mice. They were starting to dominate the nights. If you've seen the videos this week, you'll know that situation is in hand, shall we say. We've clobbered 9 of the little buggers, 6 of them in the first night. But at this point we're talking about, I was in and out of bed chasing the buggers. They were in the bedroom. I'd be standing doing something and one would scuttle out of the bedroom right past my foot, in one instance over my foot. Mice, one of the themes of the week, definitely. But mainly things were dominated really by the weather. The fact that my bed was wet and that I was having to spread my weight so as not to like squeeze a sponge. If I sat upright, I would be putting too much pressure in one spot. It would squeeze water out and I would be lying in a pool of water. So yeah, that was the weather and the fact that the tent leaks. Those were the main things for the week. Now, I believe in the week we're talking about, there wasn't a TrampCast on the Sunday prior, so there is no picking up after the TrampCast. We begin with Monday morning and an early dog walk, well, fairly early. The first thing in the morning, 8 o'clock with Tina. So we do the usual things, do the dog walky thing. The weather forecast says it's going to rain all morning. And the longer we wait for the rain, because it wasn't quite all morning in the end, but the longer we wait, the more the predicted volume of rain. It's rising up from like 7 millimeters to 9 millimeters, and eventually they say 16 millimeters. But it keeps holding off. It keeps not happening when they say. So you start to think it's not going to happen. My friend Karen and her family come around and visit and bring me a few supplies, which is nice. Thank you, Karen. It should have been in the thank yous. Look, I didn't write my thank yous properly. Thank you, Karen. Karen's like an ever present in the thank yous. We should almost just take it as read that she'll get a mention. But they brought some needed materials around, and I think shortly after they left, we got the rain that had been predicted. Yeah, and almost immediately the bed starts to feel cold. You get that feeling as I said, it's the fact that the bed is wet, maybe not on the surface where I am, but underneath is wet, and it's sapping the heat from the bed, so even my body weight isn't warming the bed up. And it rains hard all afternoon. It doesn't stop until 4 p.m. And every time I have to get out of bed, I sit on the edge of the bed, and it squeezes, again putting the weight on that one spot, squeezes a pool of water out. So as I'm sitting trying to put my shoes on and get out of bed, I'm creating a puddle on the floor. I'm standing in a puddle, or my feet are in a puddle before I'm even standing. So I get a sock, and I'm mopping that up and squeezing the sock into a bowl just to get rid of all the water. Yeah, and then eventually the eventual, you know, the thing happens that I'm lying in bed and I'm getting wet. So I take one of the pillows, I sacrifice it, I put the pillow in the wet part, and I lay on top of the pillow, and you know, use it as a sacrificial barrier between me and the water. That holds it for a few hours. Suddenly though, we get a bit of brightness. It kind of stops raining, and I get the solar panel out and the EcoFlow, and I put them over here by this tree, and try and get a top up of sun, because we haven't really had any all day. I get the EcoFlow up to 82%, which is great. That'll get me through a day and a half, maybe 2 days at a push, if it carries on being bad weather. So that's Monday's over. That's Monday over. That there's you know, just laying in bed watching videos and stuff after that. Tuesday, I gave myself a real shock here, folks. I was gutted. So I get up and I take the dog. I take Tina for a dog walk, as you do first thing in the morning. And when I get back, my phone's gone. And so's my tablet. And for 15 minutes I'm fucking distraught, thinking I've been robbed. Thinking that I've left them charging just inside the door with the EcoFlow. And I'm convinced I've been robbed. 15 minutes of gut-wrenching kind of heartache. And then I remember that on my way out with the dog, I'd filmed a little video. Phone's in my trouser pocket. Then I start to think, hold on, well, if the phone hasn't been stolen, what about the tablet? Where's the tablet? And I remembered the last thing I did with it, I plugged the USB cable in, and I was going to plug it into the EcoFlow to charge, but it's not there. And I'm thinking, I don't actually remember plugging it into the EcoFlow. And I start searching around on the bed, and as we've got out of bed, and the dog, she doesn't walk very well, so I'm having to carry her and drag her back end around. We've dragged the quilt over the top of the tablet. I was convinced I'd been robbed for 15 minutes, and the phone was in my bloody trouser pocket, and the tablet was just lost in the bed. I could write a TV series called Lost in Bed. So much stuff gets lost in that bed so often. The jacket potato that got lost for an hour that time. The spoon that got lost for 4 weeks. Count them. 4 fucking weeks I lost a spoon. And 15 minutes or so I lost a tablet. I was absolutely gutted when I thought that had gone. Really, I can't explain how bad that was, but yeah. False alarm, yeah, but I could kick myself for being so stupid. I'd stood outside and recorded a bloody video. And it was only when I remembered that I thought to check my trouser pocket. What a fucking idiot. I don't know. Yeah, let's think, where are we? Got the tablet back, buried in the bed. What a relief, what an idiot. Yeah, 20 minutes of hell though, yeah. I carry on mopping water, folks. I'm mopping water from on the every time I move and every time a new puddle appears by the side of the bed, I'm mopping it up. There's water trickling from one side. There's me squeezing it out of the mattress as I move around. It's all a bit horrible and gunky as well. Dog hair everywhere in the water. The water's kind of coming from under the bed and around the bed, and it's fetching, you know, a lot of Tina dog hair with it. So yeah, again, the weather forecast is for rain later in the day, and yeah, check the forecast, and it's going to be later in the day. Suddenly it starts to rain, quite heavy. Only 5 hours early. Forecasts. 5 hours earlier than forecast. I've got written here in my notes, at 9:35 in the morning, it's been a fucking long day already. What with all the mopping and the cleaning and the draining of water and the panic over the missing phone and tablet and editing videos and preparing things, and yeah, by 9:30 I already feel like I've had a long day. Now the rain slackens off. It's quite light. It carries on for quite a while, but it ends up being quite light apart from that early burst. But my bed is cold, and I know that it's wet. Yeah, mopping the floor for the 10th time, I wrote in my notes. And all day long the EcoFlow is getting no input. We're getting no solar. So that's a worry. All day in the tent, and this was where I decided to do the first of what I decided to call TrampCast Hangouts. I'd kind of done one already, but I just call it a TrampCast special. So from now on, for anyone who hasn't caught this, there'll be this program, the proper TrampCast. There'll be TrampCast specials where I have specific topics to talk about, and then where there's no real topic, just a TrampCast Hangout, just chatting with you guys. Tina girl, Tina, let's have some quiet. Leave the people alone. Leave the people alone. Tina, enough. Stop. Stop. So I just watched this particular TrampCast back earlier. It was only about an hour and a half long, but I quite enjoyed it. I did run out of things to talk about though. So if you do join me for a TrampCast Hangout, it'll help if you bring along a question or just a general topic, maybe something out of the news or science news or technology news or something. I don't want to get into politics and religion too much. We can touch on them, but I'm not picking sides. I'm not going to tell you who's got it right, whether it's the Buddhists or the Catholics or the Protestants. Cheds is Paul, if I remember correctly. Hello, Paul. Tell me if I got that right or wrong. Let me have a quick sip of coffee. It's coffee today, folks. There is no beer sponsor. Okay, that's cooled down enough. I can put the I can put the sippy cup lid back on now. I got it right. Okay. Where did I get to, folks? Where did I get to? Well, we did the TrampCast Hangout quite late on at night, if I remember right. Maybe 11 o'clock, somewhere around there. Good fun. But that's the end of your Tuesday. So into Wednesday. 4 a.m. dog walk. 4 a.m. she gets me up. While I'm out, I decided to stand the solar panel up in readiness because we're going to need it after using the power for the TrampCast and stuff. It takes a lot of power to charge this phone. Speaking of which, let me just have a quick check here. 63%. I had the phone on to charge for about 2 hours before, and it only got up to it was on like 85%. Don't know, it was charging really slowly, but I was using the EcoFlow to power the slow cooker. I'm trying to do some jacket potatoes, baked potatoes and a few onions, but I put too much in. I don't think they're going to be ready today. I might have to finish them tomorrow. But I think that's why the phone was charging slowly. Anyway, back to the Wednesday that we're talking of the week we're talking about, the week ending Sunday, March the 23rd. Okay, so I got the solar panel up and ready anyway, even though it's 4 a.m. I set everything up and ready. I was hoping for a lie-in, you know, after walking the dog at 4 a.m. I thought I might be able to just stay in bed a little while. No. She wakes me up again around 8, and at 10 she demands walking again. Okay. Now all morning, it was a nice morning, good and sunny. And all morning I'm telling myself I should take the mattresses out because, you know, they're wet. And I've been lying in a wet mattress for a day or two, really. But the ground was wet outside from the day before and from whatever happened overnight. But by noon, the ground was drying up, so I figured, sod it, go for it. And I started the process of moving the mattresses outside. I think I've discussed before that from making the decision to put the mattresses outside to actually starting to move the mattress, 15 or 20 minutes while I remove everything that's in the bed. So during storms I have a set of clothes in there, rather than I'll be fully clothed in bed, sometimes with shoes on even, if the weather's really bad. But I also have a separate pair of shoes in the bed, a separate set of clothes, 1 or 2 coats, preferably 2 jackets, so if I can run out and do repairs and things if needed. Well, bearing in mind that my roof could blow off at any minute and I could be left, you know, with it just raining into the tent. So collecting everything, getting everything together, taking it off the bed and then rolling up the bedding, bringing that out, getting that positioned on various chairs and clothes dryers, and then starting to hoik the actual mattress out. And they're quite a thing to hoik out. Get this, in England, in the UK, I've never seen a mattress, Tina, I've never seen a mattress that did not have handles on it. Tina, shush, quiet. So in the UK, I've never seen a mattress that didn't have handles on the side for you to wield it about, for you to lift it up and carry it. And in Spain, I've never seen a mattress that does have handles. And you see them out next to the bins all the time. No handles. So I've got this thing, I get them kind of hiked up, I get one stood up on its side, and I've got to get it out of the bedroom and then out of the door of the tent, and the door's quite low, so I have to bend the mattress in half a little bit. Tina, what are we doing? Get out of the bin, get out. She was just here being a nuisance, and now she's over there being a nuisance, and she can't move. How does she do it? But anyway, yeah, trying to hike a mattress out of a tent past various obstacles and having to fold it in half to get it out of the doorway. All along, while there's puddles on the floor, so you want to keep it, the top one, which is kind of semi-dry, you don't want to drag it through mucky wet puddles on the floor, so you've got it balanced on your foot, folded in half, and you're trying to move your foot one step at a time and get out of the tent without destroying it. Yeah, so that got the top one out, and then I pick up the I pick up the bottom mattress, and it's heavy as hell. It's totally, the bottom one's just a sponge. It's totally sopping wet through, and as I pick it up, water is streaming out of it, and the floor's got like a centimetre of dirty water just sat there on the floor. Yeah, trying to fold that one in half and having all the water squeeze out and onto me and dripping on my foot and yeah, no, not great. But I struggled. I got them out, even though they were bulking everything. Got them stood on their sides and propped up with branches in the sun. Got the top one proper dry. The bottom one, you know, the surfaces were dry, but there's probably still a lot of water in the middle. It's still wet now, weeks later. or wet again now is probably more correct. So the next few hours I was variously mopping up water in the bedroom of the tent, rotating mattresses, different sides and different faces towards the sun, moving quilts and things, you know, airing the bedding and drying it, not just airing it, drying the bedding, and I'd go back in, and the ground in the bedroom would have filled with more water again coming in from the sides. Yeah, there's a lot of people. No, I'm not squatting in a building. I'm not doing that, and I'm not mobile. I can't really get anywhere. I'm here, and I'm here to stay until I can get back to the UK, till circumstances allow. I've fought hard to stay here. Running arguments with the police and the Guardia Civil. I've stood my ground, picked up a little bit of a criminal record along the way, but proved myself to be correct in the end. So, unless the owner of this field tells me to move on, here I stay. Sitting in a corner of someone's field when they're not using it or doing anything with it seems okay to me. Breaking into a building or occupying someone's real property, and especially where people have damaged the properties and things to get in and do things, that's a step too far. I'm not a lawbreaker to that extent. I don't view myself as a lawbreaker at all, although I know that I'm not trespassing technically. You're not trespassing until you've been asked to leave by the owner. So yeah, here I am and here I stay, and I have my limits of what I will and won't do to get by. Also, I've built a support network here. I've got friends here who help. I got friends here who help and who I can call on if I'm stuck. Yeah, so this is it. This is where I am. So anyway, going back to the week in question, the week ending Sunday, March the 23rd, here on episode 61 of TrampCast. I pulled the roof off the tent. I pulled the tarpaulin back to aid with the drying out process inside, because it was getting warm, a lot of sun on the tent, until moisture's starting to evaporate, but it's trapped by the membrane, by the plastic. So I pull the plastic back to help air things out. And for a few hours, I sit and sunbathe and do the occasional bit of mopping up in there, before it starts to look like the rain might come back. And I put the lid back on the tent. I put the tarpaulin back over, and eventually start taking the mattresses back through and the bedding, and rebuild my living space. Oh, and then I bring out the towel that I've been mopping everything up with, wring that out and fill the bowl of water. And I think I did a video where I showed how much water I'd brought out of the bedroom, where I half filled this big bowl, just with the mucky rainwater from on the floor of the bedroom. So yeah, but I got a good tan that day, sat out in the sun. Yeah, not bad. But yeah, like I said, as soon as it felt like rain, I got everything back in. And then I sat there awake all night. Nice. Chasing the little bastards out of the bedroom. When they were getting so emboldened, so I'd run through shining lights and shouting and making them go away, and I'd get back into bed, and no sooner had I got back into bed, Tina, what are we doing? And why? Get off the hot chocolate. That's my hot chocolate, not yours. Stop it. Bugalugs. But yeah, they were just getting so bold, and for the next 2 or 3 weeks they were harassing me until my friends Adam and Mel brought me these evil mouse traps. Yeah, they're fantastic. I'm gonna do a video just on the mouse traps themselves. I know I did one that not a lot of people liked with the actual dead mice. I actually took a bit of glee in getting the buggers. They've been plaguing me so much for so long. So to get 6 in the one night, then nothing the next night, it's like they got the message. Then I got 2 on the third night, then I think nothing, and then I think I got 1 early the next morning. So yeah, I took great pleasure in their demise. Tina girl, I think we had one running around last night, but it didn't get snagged. It didn't get caught by the traps. But last year, if you look back at my videos last year where we had mice and what have you running around, it caused me kind of emotional distress killing them. Tina, can we have some quiet, please? Oi! She's been a nuisance this morning. Or today, I guess. But yeah, last year they were causing me great distress killing them. But I think, in part, it was the fact that I had the traps in my bedroom, because that's where the mice kind of were at times. And when the trap went off, it wasn't an instant kill. So I would hear the trap go off and I would look over and it would be in the death throes. It would be wriggling around for 10 or 20 seconds. These traps, there's no messing. Bang, dead. They're just done. There's just no messing. They've got these like teeth. The traps are, you know, like a bear trap. When you see they're kind of like that, but with plastic. And the big warnings on them are keep your fingers well out of the way. You don't bait them through the front. You take this little trapdoor out at the bottom. You twist this little thing out, put mayonnaise or ketchup or something in the little pot, and screw it back in from underneath, so that your fingers are never anywhere near the mechanism, because it looks like it would take your fingers off. Yeah, no, these, I wish they were branded and I could tell you what brand to go and get, but they just send more troops. I'm on their radar now, mate. It's been growing and growing. I mean, when I found out, when we took 6 out in the first night, they must have been fetching, you know, there must have been that many of them running around all along, and most of the time you can't hear them. It's only when they go into carry a plastic shopping bag or run over plastic, that's the only time you're aware of them. Occasionally, when they come into my bedroom, they have to climb over something, and occasionally they'll lose their footing and drop, and you hear the like the little thud as they land on the floor. That's the only time you know they're there. So when I say I've been plagued by them the last couple of months, maybe 3 months, I really mean it. Wait till they send the bus to sort me out. Yeah, wait for them to bring the big one along. Last year my tent came down to the ground and the fabric ended, and it was a separate it was a separate ground sheet, so anything could get under at any point. So we had rats in the tent a year ago. This tent was a solid envelope. So there was no getting in until they've dug under and bit in through the floor and dug a tunnel under and in. But we're getting them. Anyway, let's go back to the week in question. Where am I? Mopping there, taking the towel out. Yeah, I did a video of how much water I got off. Yeah, I think that's where I did the video called the mopping up operation, or the aftermath. The week of hell aftermath, I think, was the video that came out about this particular day. But yeah, awake all night with the mice. Yeah, eventually fell asleep at 6:30 in the morning, as you do, and woke up at 7:45. I got a whole hour, an hour and a quarter of sleep. Woke up at 7:45 with it raining. Now here's one, because I've taken both mattresses out of the tent, so they're both one on top of the other. Because I've taken them out and then brought them back in and put them back in position, they're not in the same place they were previously. They've moved slightly towards the outer wall. They're actually touching the outer wall of the tent, and that causes a problem in the rain. If you're touching a fabric that's got water running down it, the water comes in. We also had water running down the inside as well. So water was pooling on the top of my mattress, just in the one corner. Now I had a towel there, so I put a towel in position, and I put a towel in position. Tina, shush, shush. I put a towel in position and mopped up. Unfortunately, it was just a little bit of surface stuff, but there will have been water reaching the bottom and getting that bottom mattress again straight away. So straight after drying them off, the next morning they're getting wet again. The forecast says that we're going to get 3 millimeters of rain before 10 in the morning, and the next thing you know, we've got thunder and lightning, and it's fucking bucking it down like shit. Yeah, absolutely hammering it down. The forecast changed to start saying that we're going to get like fractions of a millimeter, and it's hammering it down like, you know, it's like really going for it. I think I did a video, this is the one, I did a short, I think, a short video where you can hardly hear me speak because of the noise of the noise of the rain. And I went on and on about how the weather forecast had been changed to fractions of a millimeter, and I was sat there in torrential rain. Yeah. Yeah. But the weather forecast starts to say that it's going to get sunny soon, like 10:30 in the morning. But at 8:05 it's still absolutely hammering it down. Oh, this was where it started raining in from above. I'm watching one place where the rain had come in a few days earlier, and it starts coming in over to the side, over where Tina would normally be. But fortunately, I was prepared. I'd already got the bowl ready and on the bed, the big bowl to catch the water. Tina wasn't impressed that I've got a bowl kind of sat basically on top of her. She's in bed with the quilt pulled over, and then I'm balancing a bowl on her. But what can you do, folks? What can you do? Pretty soon after, actually, the rain subsides back down to more normal levels. It carries on raining, but it's not the big torrential stuff going on for much longer. So for a couple of hours, we just have a normal amount of rain, and the drip stops. The drip was only there while the rain was torrential. And for once, the weather forecast comes through. 10:40, sunshine. Starts to feel like it's over. I get the EcoFlow and the solar panel deployed. We're on 73% at the start, and within 10 minutes, just while I make my coffee, we get up to 78%, and away we go. Yeah, funnily enough, that was the end of my notes for the day. So it must have just been a relatively straightforward, easy day for the rest of it. Loads of power to spare, watching my videos, and no more rain or nothing nasty. So that was good. Into Friday, folks. 6 o'clock dog walk. I don't get a fucking lie in, do I? I do not get a lie in. 6 o'clock dog walk this time. She lets me know she needs to go. And then at 10 a.m, another dog walk. Thanks, Tina. And this is where we got some real thunder and lightning. So Friday morning, thunder and lightning again, and seriously heavy rain. Yeah, and check the weather forecast. There's nothing mentioned about thunder and lightning. Nothing. That's annoying. And again, a straightforward day after that. I've literally added no more notes for the rest of the day. I guess I was sleeping a lot at this point. I'd missed so much sleep for so long that I would just lay down to watch a video and nod off. And the whole days were passing by, kind of just having to do the basics: walk Tina, feed her, make sure she's fed and watered, walk her when she lets me know she needs it, and sleep. just try and catch up. Into Saturday, folks. Into Saturday. And again, fairly early start. Not as early as some other days. At 8:30, put the solar panel out. The EcoFlow, we're doing well. We're on 87% at the start of the day. So there's no big rush for getting the charge and getting things powered. The heavy rain clouds in the sky. When you look over to where the wind's coming from, so it's kind of sunny, but when you look, if the wind's coming from over there and you look and there's these big, heavy, knock-off rain clouds, you know that you're not going to get, you know you're not going to get a full day of sun. But the forecasts had been saying rain, but then they removed the forecast. They removed the rain from the forecast. They're saying no rain. And you're looking at it, you're looking at these knock-off big thunderclouds, and they're where the wind's coming from. Okay, they're where the wind's coming from. So you know it's going to rain. And the weather forecast says it's not going to rain, so that makes you absolutely certain. If they say no rain, you know it's going to fucking rain. So yeah, half an hour later it's raining quite heavily. And here the forecast is telling me 0.05 of a millimetre, so a 20th of a millimetre. Where do they get this shit from? Anyway, we had heavy rain for a couple of hours, and then by midday it got up nice again. But the tent's really warm again with all the moisture. Where the rain's got in, we got moisture. Then it gets hot, and you can feel the humidity inside the tent. So I opened the doors, both sides, but I don't take the roof off because it's a trauma to put back on. Now, the evening of this day, where are we? We're into Saturday, are we? Have I gone off on one? I think I'm looking at the wrong day in my notes. We were on Friday the last. Oh no, yeah, we're on Saturday. We're on Saturday. Gang of kids in the field. I hear kids, and normally they'll be on the road, but I hear them, and there's a lot of giggling, and then it stops. And it sounded like they were more this side, like on the path in the field here. And whenever you get that, when you get kids coming down through the field, I can't stop them, it's not my field, but they're usually up to a bit of mischief. And I had an incident a few weeks ago where they threw a stone and it just missed my head and rolled down the tent, so it stopped. Chris, is it Dadachowski? It is Chris, isn't it? I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, mate. Hello. But this gang of kids come down the field, I hear the giggling, and I look outside, and there's one lad, and there's three girls kind of running away out of the field. Now what I didn't do, I didn't think to look at his hands and see whether he had a stone in his hand. He froze. And I said hello, he said hello, and then he started to walk off back towards the girls. Now there's no harm done this time. But last Sunday, immediately after the TrampCast, I'm sat in bed, I've got my head against the back of the tent, whack, fucking stone. And three girls and a boy are running off at the top of the field. I think it was the same bunch. Can't be sure. I gave chase, but I got to get the dog out of the way. Well, I got to get my bearings. I've just been hit on the head with a fucking rock. I got myself together. I got the dog out of the way because she's trying to get out, but she's hobbling. She can't actually go now. Got to get my shoes on, and I'd got the tent. I'd got it pegged, the door pegged closed. So I got to fight my way out and get ready. I went running off where I just saw them disappearing at the top of this road, and I went where I thought they'd gone, but by the time I got there they were gone. Tina girl, let's have some quiet. But yeah, so that's why I think that was the same. I think that was the same gang. I have had another gang come down through the field in the last couple of weeks as well. But they were all boys, and they were a fucking nuisance. Kids. Okay, where are we? Gang kids in the field. Yeah, so this is Saturday night. They ran away. Okay, so then it's just my usual Saturday night routine. I watch BigClive.com over on Twitch, and then Scruff Dog over on YouTube, one after the other. Basically, it's the same audience. They move from one to the other. We all know each other from in the chat there. I'll have a quick look, see whether I'm missing anything in chat here. I don't think I'm missing too much. Yeah, I think I'm up to date with all of that. Where are we for time, folks? Look at this. We're going to be done. We're almost on a Sunday. We're almost done. Record time. I think that's because some of these days were so straightforward. I didn't even keep notes, did I? A couple of these days we just got past breakfast and that was it. There was no more notes. So again, after watching BigClive.com and Scruff Dog, awake all night, late into the night with the mice. Yeah, I think that's it, Dadachowski. It's a laugh for them, and especially if I give chase. But the one that caught me the other day, that gave me a hell of a whack. It's kind of a glancing blow. It didn't even come up in a lump, so I'm really lucky. I guess maybe the wall of the tent, because it leans in quite a lot. Maybe that took a lot of the sting out of it. I had one a few weeks ago where it missed and rolled down the fabric and caught me on the way down. But yeah, no, this got me like kind of direct, but in a glancing kind of way. But yeah, I did some stupid stuff as a kid, you know. We used to, there was this, when we were camping in Cleethorpes, there was this little roundabout in the middle of a road, and it had quite a big hill on it and a lot of growth, a lot of trees and stuff. And me and a friend, we would get these big, we called them cabbage leaves, but they were probably like big dock leaves or something, and we'd fold them up and crush them and throw them at people's, you know, throw them in the air and have them kind of drop down on people's, we were aiming to get people's windscreens. It's not going to do any damage, it's just a leaf, but it might shock the driver, you know. It was a stupid thing to do. Kids do stupid things, don't they? But this was quite a big, when I've looked, there are two big rocks there from these two incidents where they've thrown stuff. So this is where they've come one time down through the field and got close enough to throw not just a stone but a rock. And one time they came down and were on the road and did it. But yeah, I'm sat inside with my head against the back of the tent, and that's the surface that they're throwing at. I don't know. I've decided not to give chase though anymore, because that's the fun for them, isn't it? My problem is I'm getting a new tent and I don't want, you know, this, it kind of doesn't matter if you put a hole in this, it's knackered anyway. But if I get a new one, it's costing quite a lot of money. I've emptied out the PayPal account to get it. I had some money already, then I got two big donations. So if they come along doing that shit and if they break my new tent, I'm going to be seriously unhappy. This is why I could do with, I've talked about this in the past, when I was getting a lot of grief from the police when they were playing funny buggers, coming down, peeping horns and blowing whistles at 3 and 4 in the morning, I said about getting like a webcam, a standalone battery powered webcam. Or someone mentioned last week like a trail cam for like recording the mice or whatever. But I could do something like that pointed down at this road or at this field. I probably need two. One pointed at the road and one pointed at the field. And if anything happens, I can retrieve the footage and, you know, put it on Facebook and say, do you know these little bastards? You know, do you know these little scroats? Who are they? Oh, hand it over to the police. Which I'm disinclined to do because they'll be on my back then, won't they, the cops? They'll be wanting ID and papers and all the stuff I haven't got. Anyway, folks, So awake. This was Saturday night. Awake all night with mice again. I'm woken Sunday morning by Tina barking her head off. It's very sunny outside. I don't know what she was barking at. Maybe someone going past. Don't know. But she's like that sometimes. It can be anything, folks. It can be a bus. I've got videos where I'm talking and a bus pulls up on the main road at the top, like 100 metres away. And she barks at the bus. She's defending me from the autobus. Anyway, I'm walking by Tina barking. It's very sunny outside. I'm obviously late getting up because I've been awake all night. I get the EcoFlow plugged in. As I said, I unplug it now each night and take it through into the bedroom. Hey, Frank, how you doing? So anyway, I get the EcoFlow and get the solar panel plugged in. And immediately I notice I'm on 80% on the EcoFlow before we start. I'm already, and I've got 50 watts of power coming in from the panel first thing in the morning. Quick dog walk and we're already up to 90%, so I'm sorted. There's absolutely no panic for power. And this is where I start to wonder how much power I'm wasting each day. How much, if I'm fully charged on the EcoFlow by 10 in the morning, and there's going to be another 6, 8, 10 hours of sunshine, how much am I wasting? This is why today I've used the slow cooker to do my baked potatoes, or at least to try. But I don't think I quite got that. I think I've overloaded it with too much, and overloaded it with too many potatoes and a couple of onions, and I don't think they're going to get cooked today. But hey ho, such is life. I'll finish them off tomorrow. But this is where I realised that because we've had 3 weeks of these storms and it's been hell, I haven't cooked in days. I've been eating like sandwiches or just ready to eat meals, cup of soups, but I haven't cooked any proper food in probably 2 weeks. And the food I have cooked, I've taken a cup of soup, put it in a pan and added rice and lentils just to beef it up, and put in 2 or 3 times as much water as that soup would normally justify. That has been the extent of any cooking that I did, and that was just in the early days of the storms. So I look around and I notice that all my pans that are outside have been out in the storms, and with the wind and all the rain, they're full of water. Even my frying pan that had got oil in, cooking oil, they're full of water and soil, dust, where it's all been blowing around. So all of my pans needed a good cleaning out. Yeah. So this is my Sunday morning, cleaning all my cookeryware, all my pots and pans and my plate that was down here, I think. Yeah. So that was my Sunday morning. And then, of course, Sundays I do this TrampCast, and I start to prepare my notes, and that's more or less my day over, folks. It can take, especially when I'm, like today, when I'm doing the TrampCast notes about a previous week, and I'm having to check videos to make sure I'm remembering the right details from the right week. It can take me 3 hours or more to get these done. So, for the week ending March the 23rd, which is the week that we've just covered, that's more or less it. I was doing my notes, which fortunately were already half done. I got a note to myself here that the notes were already half done, because the week before I'd started to prepare the notes, but then we got bad weather and I decided not to do the TrampCast that day because the wind was too strong. I didn't want to do another one like the one I did the 2 days into the 2 days into the first week of the storms, when the storms first started. If you remember, the tent was at a 45-degree angle, being battered broadside by the winds. So fortunately, the week that we're talking about, when I was doing the notes for that week, during that week, preparing for a TrampCast, Notes were already half done. But yeah, that was the week that was, folks. That was the week that was. And we've got through it in just over an hour, which is great. They normally take 2 hours, sometimes 3. But let's chat. Oh, am I missing something? Let me just chat. I saw Frank arrive. Thomas is talking, what we're talking about, the kids and social media and lack of consequences. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I did stupid things as a kid. Kids do stupid things. David says it sounds like I'm having a good weekend. I'm having a good weekend now. Good weather again. Although there's a bit of cloud. I'm seeing cloud behind me, not so much in front of me. Let me see if I can show you. So over that way, there's quite a lot of clear sky. And over the sun there to the west-ish. But over there, as you saw before, there's quite a lot. I'm not sure whether, I think the wind's in my face, so I think we've got the clear stuff. I think we've got the clear stuff coming towards me. Probably a clear, cold night, knowing my luck. Well, fingers in front of the camera again. Anti-social media, yeah. Okay, folks, I'm open for questions or comments. I know some of you have just dropped in. This always happens. I get the highest viewing figures towards the end of the program. Have you heard me? Program. I don't know what else to call it. Broadcast? Ugh. Empty my cup. And bring the next one in. I'm thinking, folks, that I might do another TrampCast hangout tonight. But I'm not sure. I might have to go and look up some topics to chat about, just some whatever's in the news or science or technology news. Oh, scratch. I think something's just been eating the back of my leg. Whenever you get a lot of rain, for the next week or so afterwards, the flies and mosquitoes are horrendous. Fortunately, my friends Mel and Adam gave me a little, you know, one of those ultraviolet thing attracts the flies and zaps them, blitzes them. It runs off USB and it uses so little power it doesn't even register on the EcoFlow. So I just leave it sat there plugged in permanently now, day and night, because it just doesn't use any power. It doesn't register. So it runs for free, and I've just checked it, and I've been using it. I think it was Monday they brought it around, so I probably started using it maybe Monday night, maybe Tuesday morning. So it's only been 5 or 6 days, and the thing's covered in dead flies. I've got a little brush to clean it off with that I'll have a go at probably tomorrow. Never do today what you can put off till tomorrow. A bit of procrastination. Tina, let's have some quiet. Shush. Quiet. Never do today what you can put off till tomorrow. I've spoke before about my my tendencies for procrastination. I've got to clean this entire. Okay. Yeah, I'll chat a little bit about what I've got coming up this next week. The week that we just did, the things that were to come up after that was hoping it was all over and getting things dried out and cleaned up and eventually declaring the whole storm over, the whole week of hell, which was 18 or 19 days long in the end, I think. Getting that over and out the way was what was upcoming for that particular week. And the mice. But for me now, I think we've got the mouse thing under control. I've got these 4 fantastic traps. I'm going to do a separate video on them. Probably only short. There's not a lot you can say really. It's just this really amazing spring-loaded death trap. As long as you keep your fingers out of the way, you're fine. That's the other thing with having a dog. I have to be careful where I put the mouse traps. So they're around the edges of the tent and in an area that Tina doesn't go. But in the next week, I've got to empty the tent out. I've got to sort through everything in there, decide what I'm throwing away and what I'm keeping. No doubt I will find a lot of things that I'd totally forgotten I have. I will probably find some things that have been ruined by the rain that I'd kind of put away for safekeeping, but you know, back when the tent was a complete unit, not when it was a leaking sieve. So there are things to sort through, look through, decisions to make, because next weekend my friend arrives back bearing a tent. It has already been obtained, it is already in their possession. But next weekend, according to the forecast, when I last looked, there's 4 days of bad weather. So it will probably be the Tuesday or the Wednesday of the week after before I can actually get that up properly, get that up. And it'll be a hell of a day. It'll take time to empty this out, deconstruct it, decide what I'm doing with the various bits of fabric. I think I'm going to cut the walls off and keep the base as an extra ground sheet. I've got to get under it and look at those places where the mice are coming up, where they've tunneled up. I've got to do something. I'm thinking of putting poison down the hole. And as long as I get it exactly down the hole, and then maybe hammer in a piece of wood or something into the hole and make sure it's leveled off, because we're going to be putting the new tent on the same spot as the old. I just got to be careful that you know, that if I do go with poisons, that it is just exactly in the hole, so that there's no risk of Tina or any other animals getting at him. The ground sheets and what have you will go straight back over, although I might have to change the orientation, because at the minute there are holes in the ground sheets that line up with where the holes are on in the floor where the mice were. So I might twist those around so that the potential mouse hole is covered by actual plastic. So I've got to do that, and then we've got to move the new one into place. And this time, straight away from the off, I am putting tarpaulins over the top. No ifs or buts, no messing. Last time around I was getting so much hassle from the police and Guardia Civil that it kind of had a chilling effect. I was literally too frightened to put tarpaulins over the new tent, as it then was a year ago. Too frightened to put them over, because I thought shiny blue plastic would just bring the police on top of me again. And they were here weekly, sometimes twice a week at times. Didn't want that. But this time, new tent, new tarpaulins over the top, old tarpaulins over the top of the new tarpaulins to protect the tarps from the ultraviolet for as long as we can. Just try and keep everything kind of new and fresh. But it's all that work, emptying it's 7 meters by 3 meters, and it's all just covered in the things I've collected over the months. Some of them are actually useful. Some of them may be useful at a future date. Some of them might have been a bit crazy, like the television. I don't know whether that was a good idea or not. I've never used it, once or twice, as a joke. A tramp with a television. And I've got my high-backed armchair. I think the carpet that's down will be being disposed of and replaced. I've got another one already on standby, ready for using. But I'm going to look into building my bed off the ground again this time. I've got to do something to get the bed off the ground, so that eventually, if the tent does ever go through again, the mattresses won't be lying in water. I've done a video in the past, when was it? I did a video probably 18 months ago where I did build a bed off the ground through 4 piles of bricks, 2 cross beams and 4 planks across those cross beams. But the police stole those planks. Fire risk. So I'm going to find some other way of getting my mattresses off the ground, folks. Now it could just be as simple as putting, I think I might have maybe a dozen bricks. If I can put maybe a dozen bricks just on the ground and just put the mattress directly on the bricks, so the mattresses will be 1 brick high off the ground. But I'm not sure, because I occasionally stand on the mattresses to do certain things and move certain lights and things around. I'm not sure if I put my foot down partly on a brick and partly not, or in between bricks. Not quite sure how the mattresses would react. So I don't know, but I've got all these things to figure out in the next week or so. Are your mattresses dried out now, asks Rich. No, I was actually surprised yesterday. I put my hand down the side of the bed and felt how wet the bottom mattress is. We've had little bits of rain here and there, but nothing massive. I'm thinking condensation at night. I'm thinking it's just, we have had some cool nights, not cool. This time of year, when it's warm through the day, the moisture absorbs the atmosphere absorbs a lot of moisture, and then it only has to drop a few degrees at night for it to be below the dew point. The dew point can be as high as 13 or 14 degrees. So it's 14 degrees, it's perfectly warm, but you can see your breath. It's quite a phenomenon. Where I'm from, you don't see your breath until it gets down to like 3 degrees, or, you know. So seeing your breath 10, 11, 12 degrees is different. Not used to that. But no, it is quite damp in there. I could have brought the mattresses out today, but I lay on the bed while I'm writing these notes, so it would have disturbed my Sunday routine. I'll maybe drag them out tomorrow if the weather isn't bad. I need to bring everything out of there. I've got two holdalls in there, 2 big bags full of things, and at least one of them, maybe both of them, are on the floor and are going to have a wet bottom. It's entirely possible that they're just full of like mouldy clothes or whatever. I should have got them out and aired more quickly after the shenanigans, after the storms, but I didn't. Keith Mark, hello. Let's have a look. Do you have any exit strategy at the moment? No, it's a holding pattern. It's just survival. I can't get out of here. I can't break the cycle until I can get hold of my money from the bank in the UK. They won't give me my money until I produce myself and my passport in their branch, in the Lancaster branch, in the UK. So I'm in a catch-22. I can't get out of the country till I get my money and sort out a legal thing. I can't get back to the UK without that. I can't get the money till I get that. It's a catch-22. So it's literally a holding pattern. Plus we've got Tina's deteriorating health as well, and she hasn't had her jabs. So we got all before I can leave, it's 2 visits to the vets, and there would be a 2 weeks waiting period after she gets up to date with her jabs. You have to wait, then she has to go back and have the worming, then there's the paperwork. It's all jammed up. So no, I know exactly what order I would have to get things done once I can free it up and get going. But ABS, hello. You look well, thank you. My new haircut, folks. I don't know how many of you have seen it or not. I got a haircut the other day and a beard trim. Took it off down to the bone at the sides and left a bit of a goatee. Although it's all growing out a little bit already, as these things do. So you can't really tell the difference between the two, but Yeah, I thought I looked quite pretty. Some clown came on and said I looked like a dog's dinner, but fuck him. Missed the first 20 minutes. You'll never know the interesting facts about the number 61. It'll be available to watch afterwards. It's best left until tomorrow morning or lunch when chat replay is enabled, when it's all been processed. Do you know the hydrostatic value of the material of your new tent? I don't even know what the word means, mate. No. Hydrostatic value. I'm guessing that's to do with how waterproof it is. Tina! Water resistant, I guess, would be the better word. Tina girl! Enough! Come here. Now. Come on. Come and be cuddled. Come on. Come here. Come and be cuddled. Come on. Say hello to the nice peoples again. Say hello to that. I forgot to pick up treats in my rush to get out. Go on, babe. Bum shuffle to your water. You're going for your water. Go on. Go on, stand up and go to your water. There you go. There's a clever girl. All nice and stood up. Okay. Where am I? Gotta look after my girl. She needs help getting to her feet. There we go, babe. No? Yeah. Cuddles. Cuddles. Okay. Where are we, folks? Hydrostatic value. I've had about 8 or 9 months now with no police interaction. I think it's more or less stopped. We carried on a little while, but it took them a while to get the message. They had El Jefe down here. They had the boss of the Policia Local down here with all his gold braid. He had all the scrambled egg on the peak of the cap and everything. Cuffs, you know. I thought I'd got an admiral coming to visit. So much scrambled egg on display. He walked around the field for 2 hours, wouldn't talk to me, wouldn't acknowledge me, wouldn't look at me. But he's walked around pacing backwards and forwards. He had 4 of his officers here giving me grief and asking questions and asking about how I cook and at that point I'd got the gas bottle and everything hidden. So it was just the slow cooker and the solar panel and the EcoFlow. He walked around. I got the impression he was talking to the land registry, trying to find out who the owner of the land is, because I was arguing that it's private land and not public. They were arguing it was public and that when they say go, I have to go. And I was saying, even if you say go, I'm not going. You need paperwork from a court. Go get some paperwork from a court telling me I have to go. And I'll petition the court and explain why maybe I'm a vulnerable person and with nowhere else to go and no resources, maybe I should be given a chance to stay. And you know, you'd get a chance to do the arguing, discussing, you know, put your point forward. That was what I was proposing and thinking. Anyway, this bloke walked around for 2 hours and in the end, I said to them, right, I'm going in now, guys. I fucked them off. I went inside my tent, closed the door. They stood around here talking for another quarter of an hour, and then the one of them that spoke English said goodbye, called me by name and said goodbye, and I said cheers, bye. And since then we had one police officer turn up the day we put the new tent up. We had one turn up the day after, and I think that's been it. That's been it. The one who came down, I said your boss was here a week earlier, and she took a photograph. She didn't believe me, but she took a photograph and was obviously going to go back to the station and ask. And that's been it. That's my police interactions the last 8 or 9 months. I lose track of the actual dates, but wooden pallets. I used to ABS. I used to because I used to walk around. I used to have 2 big circuits that I would walk around all of the bins. And over here at the petrol station and the Chino Bazaar, they have deliveries that arrive on pallets. I used to get them and smash them up for firewood. I used to boil my water the old-fashioned way. I used to spend all day either collecting wood, breaking wood down, or batoning it into small pieces. Yeah, I spent a whole year processing wood. But I don't get out and about anymore because Tina's not mobile and I can't really leave her. Pallets would be an option. I thought about that a while ago, but I just don't come across them. I don't get out and about. What else have we got? Oh, you saw the Who's a Pretty Boy Then video. Okay. Narcissistic bastard, aren't I? I mean, yeah, they've got no reason to believe that I'm involved in anything nefarious. I won't even. I mean, I've been offered work. I won't even break the tax laws by working when I'm not allowed to or not supposed to. Pallet processing, that was easy. I had a lump of rebar, about 18-inch long, and it's a good weight, probably a couple of kilograms. I don't know. It's a good, substantial piece of rebar, and I had a collection of Mora knives, good woodcraft kind of knives, given to me by a friend who's a carpenter, probably cabinet maker to be more correct. So yeah, and I went through a few of those knives because if you're battening wood with a lump of rebar and you're hitting the knife directly, every now and again, once every 3 months, 4 months, it's gonna break. I carried on using it after it broke down, and then I had the handle break off, and I was forming my own handles, just pushing it on, stabbing the tang, the end into the wood to make just to fashion a new handle for it. But yeah, I mean the slats are easy enough, but I was also battening down the main beams in it. So yeah, hard work. Oh no. Pulls alongside, looks at me, then looks 90 degrees the other, 180 degrees the other way. Tina, shush, shush, shush. Tina, can we have quiet, please? Quiet, quiet. Quiet, quiet. There's a good girl. Come on. Come on. Come here, come for cuddle. Yeah. Come on. Come on. There's no need to defend me from everybody. There's no need to defend me from everybody. But yeah, breaking down pallets for fire. I'd also break down gate posts. Every now and again I'd find gate posts and door jombs and things. Like I said before about nefarious practices, I'm on record that I won't squat in a building. Tina. Partly another reason is buildings are cold in winter. Spanish buildings are built to give off the heat, and in winter they get really cold. And if you're in one that's been broken into and that's got doors and windows missing, no electricity and what have you, that's. And I wouldn't go one where electricity had been tapped into and that you're then up for an extra charge of stealing electricity. I have enough trouble with the police without any of that crap. So yeah, I want to keep my nose as clean as possible in terms of legalities. Yeah, pallet wood's dodgy for burning though, isn't it? It's very, very spitty and like I was here, this field used to be really green like it is now. I'll show you the field. It's actually quite green again nowadays. Because we've had this 3 weeks of storms, and we had some storms even before that. So the field's quite green at the minute. But this field used to flood, and that's how it maintained its kind of its ecosystem by being underwater 2 or 3 times a year. And then they did a drainage ditch at the top of the field just after I moved in here, quite good timing, really. I got flooded out twice in the first month, but then they did drainage work at the top of the field, and now it doesn't flood. This field got very, very dry, and I think I was stepping over a line by having real fires, like campfires. Even though I restricted them, I had them inside a metal tube, inside like a chimney. It was a metal tin with the bottom taken off, and on a grid, on a mesh, on a stand. So it was very contained, and the pan would be over the top, so it's not like there were embers flying everywhere. But the police did get concerned and start giving me grief about that. One time they came, and the guys, muy peligroso, telling me how dangerous it is. But he didn't make me stop. I was in the middle of cooking a pan of stew. He didn't make me stop. He just told me how dangerous it was. And I said, no, I don't think so. I said, it's contained. Chimenea. The pot's over the top with just a centimetre or two gap between the top of the chimney and the pan. Totally self-contained. But yeah, certain wood just kind of spit quite a bit, and pallet wood is. If you're in a fully enclosed box like a log burner or whatever, you're probably fine. In a field here, a bit more. You wonder if the local shop I mentioned might save me 4 pallets. I'd have to learn the language first, but it's a possibility. It's a possibility. Harmful chemicals, Thomas said. Well, the ones I was picking up would often be used by builders and things, and they had, some of them had quite nasty chemicals on anyway, or coated in cement and stuff. Whoa, how are we for sound, folks? I haven't asked, because I did have, where's it gone? I've got a sponge here. I can put over if you're getting pops and clicks from the wind, I don't know, no one's mentioned anything, but then no one mentioned it the other day, and I was watching one of the streams back, and it was horrendous for pops and clicks. I think that was the stream that I did one night this week. Tuesday? Wednesday? I've no idea. Whatever day it was. I don't know what day I did a hangout. It might have been Thursday. Adam and Mel, hello. I think we're just about finished, folks. I'm happy to keep chatting if you've got stuff to talk about, but I was thinking of doing a hangout tonight. It's 10 o'clock, maybe 10:30. It's getting a bit windy. I don't know whether you can. I'm hoping it's not interfering with the sound. Let me put this away. I've finished with this book, haven't I? I've finished with this for now. The odd. Sounds good, just the odd issue. Okay. Let me see how I am for coffee. No beer sponsor this time, so coffee. That's still surprisingly hot, considering I made it two hours ago. Fingers in front of there. Okay, I think I'm up to date with chat. I think I'm up to date. Anybody want to chat about anything else? I'm here. You got questions about me, about the tent, about the future tent, which has been purchased, folks. It has been purchased. I will discuss this here because the price, the weight and the size that you get, and all of the designs that we saw, they were really high, like with that center pole and it looked like a big top. I thought being that tall would attract the wrong attention, like I'm saying before about the police. Also, they were quite small in terms of the footprint canvas, because you want to keep the price down, so you go smaller. And they were kind of this bell tent thing where there's no internal rooms. It was just one area internally. And some of the ones that I saw didn't have like a built-in ground sheet, so anything could come under anywhere. So all the rats and mice problems that I've had previously, it all just it didn't work out that way. I don't actually remember what colour we've gone for. I think it might be blue again, like this one. I'm not sure. But it's going to get covered with tarpaulins anyway. I think I looked at a green one. I think Dada Chosky sent me a link and one of those was green. But the one I looked at, there was something iffy about the photos. It looked like, as you slid through the slideshow, it looked like two different tents. Looked ideal other than that. Oh, and the height. It was only 1 metre and a bit high. I would have been stooped at all times inside. It's purchased, it's done. It's a done deal. We have obtained it already. I spent all my money. I don't want to discuss numbers, but we have already purchased it. I emptied my PayPal account, sent it across to a friend with 10% extra to cover. You know, you look up what the exchange rate is, but that's never the exchange rate you actually get. GoFundMe doesn't work for me because you have to have a bank account to extract it to, and I don't have a bank account. So I have PayPal, and I send the money across to a friend. We lose on the exchange rate, we lose on fees. She takes it out the other side into her bank, and there are fees again from either PayPal or the bank, not sure which. So I have to send enough extra to cover her losses. And also I'm going to have to send a little bit extra because now it's reconnecting. I hope I wasn't gone for too long, folks. It tells me I'm reconnected. Let's see whether I've lost anything. Get some flooring for a porch, timber decking. Yeah, I don't know how I would do that with no money. Friends using Revolut. Yeah, I see the adverts all over the place. I'm not exactly sure how it works. Probably similar to PayPal. Now I'm using PayPal, but it's not connected to a bank account. So what I used to do was send PayPal money to friends over here, and then they'd bring me the notes. We'd exchange PayPal funny money for actual coin of the realm or notes of the realm. But now I send money to my friend, and she puts it on a post office payment card, like a prepaid debit card that I can use in the shops, tap and go kind of stuff. Or occasionally someone will give me, you know, 5 or 10 euros as they're walking past when they see a guy sat living in a field in a broken down tent. That's the other thing, folks, isn't it? Once I've got a shiny brand new tent, there go all the donations. No one's going to take pity on a guy who looks like he's camping or glamping. Sat here with my solar panel, my EcoFlow, my television, electric fans, slow cooker, and a brand new tent. No one's going to be donating to that guy. Yeah, some of these payment things, you got to have addresses, and the big blue tent in the field opposite Repsol doesn't work as an address. Also, you've got the complication that the word for tent is also the word for shop in Spanish, for historic reasons. Markets and things, as shops would have been originally, were tents, and so the word for tent and the word for shop are the same thing. So trying to say the big blue tent, there's also a big blue shop. Complexities. Oh, it reminds me, I better check the charge on the phone. How can I do this? I've got to remove the wind guard, the windshield. 17%, folks. We're going to have to bring it to an end soon anyway. What I'll do though, I'll put my phone onto charge, and later tonight, probably 10:30 or so my time, 9:30 UK, you'll have to do the rest of the maths from there. Basically in just under 4 hours, I'll do a hangout stream. Come prepared. Bring a topic and a question or two. A topic can be anything. We can discuss science, technology, whatever. No politics and no religion. But other than that, we can discuss things and waffle on as I often do. Let's see how long we can keep going tonight. We did 4.5 hours one time. We did 5 hours another, and we've had a couple that were just over an hour, hour and a half, something like that. Oh, gonna get some cognac. Nice, Bardo. Bardo juice. Interesting name. Okay, folks. I think that's it for now. Join me tonight if you're available and have a mind to. Oh, Thomas says skull. Skull for the cognac. Skull. Okay, folks. Let me see whether I can do the traditional. Oh, I have to find her first. Let me see. I don't know whether I can do it like this. I don't know whether you can see her. Did you see her? Let me get up and do it properly. I've got to be careful, she's right behind my chair. Move your bum, darling. Move, move, move. That's a good girl. Oh, okay. Stay there. Oh, God, I nearly got your tail. That was close. Okay, folks. Sorry, you got to have your traditions, haven't you? You got to have your traditions. Oh, God, my legs have seized up. Oh, Jesus. Oh. Okay, let's do this thing. Hey, babe. Hey. From Tina. And from me, Delta Mike. Out. Awkward moment.